Happy Monday, and welcome to the Weekly Noodle, the official podcast of Spaghetti Records. Each week, we feature a release from a Spaghetti Records recording artist and give you a look behind the scenes at the writing, recording, and creative process. I'm Bill, and this week, we'll be looking at the song Hey Girl by the band Wind Me Up. We're here in the studio, and we happen to have Ben of Wind Me Up with us. Ben, thanks for joining.
A true pleasure to be here. Thanks, Bill.
Absolutely. As I said, we'll be talking about the song Hey Girl, which I got to tell you, I was excited kind of seeing the production of it take place. I was excited to get that first mix and hear it played back, and it exceeded my expectations, and it hasn't let up. It's a great song, great melody. I think it's gonna keep going. This one, it's gonna just keep rolling down the hill and getting bigger.
Yeah, and gathering moss and applause and awards.
Yeah, all of those things indeed. So to start though, so you're the front man of Wind Me Up, singer, songwriter, guitarist. I mean, the solo on this song, that's you.
Yeah, clothing model, all of those things. But really that really a group effort. Just an outstanding group of guys and fine musicians all around.
Absolutely. What can you tell us about that band and just about the recording in general? Where did you guys lay down the tracks?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We ended up initially recording this album with a great engineer, Mark Mahalik, down in Chicago, and recording the drums and bass and just a whiff of guitars down there, and sound great, very happy. Unfortunately, around that time, people would become busy, and then things sort of resolve, and the project kind of went into hibernation for a great while, and recently picked it back up, take the tracks that we had, and kind of starting from that framework, build onto it to get to what you hear today. Awesome. Well, what we hear today is certainly exciting. It's good. It's a great track, like we said. And why don't we go ahead and spin that track real quick for listeners here and let them get a taste of Hey Girl. What do you think? I like it.
All right. Well, without further ado, here is Hey Girl by Wind Me Up.
All I'm trying to do is think of nothing and be just a good friend to you. But you're making it hard to do. Take that as you will. You stop being so funny, 'cause I think your life is money, and it turns me on like a late night TV telethon. So I'm calling in to pledge it all to you. I guess this could come as news. I might be a bit confused. This might be how everyone feels when they are hanging around. But I'd like to think there's something special about you and me. Just have to wait and see. Till that time I'll sing this rhyme to you. Hey girl, you got me wanting you. No matter what I do, every time I step back, you put me right back in with the sweet you do. The way you whip those baby blues knocks me damn right out my shoes. So I'm shoeless and wondering and thinking of nothing but you. You got me second guessing, to tell the truth, it's messing with my head right now. You got my world turned upside down. But I think I like the change in view. I'm searching for a talent or a hobby that just might impress you. Learn the lost art of Kung Fu, or get a sweet tattoo to represent my crew. I guess this could come as news. I might be a bit confused. This might be how everyone feels when they are hanging around. But I'd like to think there's something special about you and me. I just have to wait and see. Till that time I'll
Yeah. I like that ending, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it is a fun one. It's a cool groove all the way through. And that rhythm section, the drummer, the bass player, they're grooving.
They're simply they're probably the best I've played with, except for the ones I'm currently playing with, of course.
Oh, of course.
Talented group of guys. That was Brad Iser on drums, Eric Curtis on rhythm guitar, and the unstoppable Jim Garrett on bass.
Yeah, that's cool. Definitely a cool groove there. Cool song. Good arrangement, good parts. The song itself, though, cool song. Like we say, the band's great. It's a rock song, but it's songwriter music too, right? There's a songwriter element to it.
Yeah, thanks for noticing. I definitely set out to tell a story with this one, but kind of tried to disguise it in a nice rock pop, setting.
Yeah, well, it has a voice. It has its own voice as a song, definitely. Little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor, if I dare say. I caught a little bit of that, but just and that's a part of it too. A voice that I think that I certainly can identify with as a guy, or probably just as a person,
Yeah,
who's living in the world.
Yeah. It's a fun song, but a song from a real place and a real experience, and to have people kind of know what I'm getting at and connect with it at any level is what I was shooting for sure. It's a scenario that I'm sure a lot of people out there can identify with, where you are friends with a person who you have more than friends feelings for, and
yes,
they are not yet quite attuned to that fact.
So you write a song about it.
That's right, and you don't show them until many years after the friendship has dissolved.
Sure. That's probably a good way to go about it.
That's how I go about life, yeah.
Good to know. But you certainly built a cool song out of it. How about the harmonies on this song? The vocal harmonies, they're excellent.
Thanks. Thank you.
Hey girl.
Is that, well, I was going to say, are you a Beatles fan? Of course, everybody's a Beatles fan, but is that where you see that coming from? I hear Beatles, I hear John Lennon kind of in that vocal style, just the arrangement, the way they complement the song, the place they fit in the song. To me, it's part of that Beatles tradition a little bit.
Yeah, I can't ask for a better compliment than that. Sure. I do love the Beatles, but in truth, someone who I'm a little more well-versed in would be Ben Folds and all of his sort of solo and group projects. And no doubt he drew from the Beatles as an influence. And then I kind of pulled from a lot of his music with that thick layered harmony there that adds almost a whole own instrument to it.
Yeah, it does. It really does add a whole kind of high-end texture to the song a little bit. It sounds really good. And just a good lead vocal delivery as well. I got to say the solo too. Excellent guitar solo. That's a Gibson, right? I'm hearing a Gibson tone.
Les Paul. It's actually an Epiphone, but yeah.
Okay, sure. Well, let's go ahead and play it back. Hear it again. That's you playing that part.
That is me. Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't believe it at times, but that I guess at one point in my life I had chops.
Yeah, and it is. It's a cool solo. Excellent. It's got some cool flourishes. I like the hi-ya vocal in there. A couple of those kind of group gang vocals where it sounds like the band's joining you, gives it a nice flavor.
Yeah, it's funny when we play this song live. It sort of organically occurred. We had a group of fans who would yell that back from the audience.
Hey girl, you got me one.
I remember the show just yelling out, kind of surprising me, but then it became a thing.
Yeah, cool. And then it made its way into the studio.
exactly.
That's awesome.
As it should.
Cool story behind that. One other thing on the track that stood out to me, I want to say it's on the second verse. I believe it's on the second verse. There's a guitar that comes in, sounds, to my ear, dare I say, rather country.
Very daring indeed. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sure. Yeah, I think we have your source track loaded here. Let's hear it. Kind of licking guitar, yeah?
Yeah. Which I find myself doing, and I ask myself why, because historically I've not been a big country fan per se, not my cup of tea, but that I think overall this song has a certain rhythmic sound to it, from the train drum beat to the rhythm guitar, the bass tapping, it all doom chuck, very locked in tight.
Sure.
And I think that style of guitar, that percussive style, fits in nice with that.
Yeah. Well, it definitely does, and that's what kind of stood out to me was it was so natural, flowed so well there. You could almost overlook it, but at the same time, it caught my ear because I thought, man, I wouldn't have thought to put that there. Interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice. I honestly don't know what possessed me, but I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, and I am as well, and I assume out there and in podcast land, our listeners enjoyed it as well. But an interesting choice and an interesting song. Definitely glad you could join us here in the studio today, Ben.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Bill. It's been fun, and it was fun to revive this tune.
Absolutely, and thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll hear more from you in the future, and it's been a pleasure.
Thanks again.
That's a wrap for this week. Thanks for tuning in to The Weekly Noodle, the official podcast of Spaghetti Records. Join us next week when we debut the new single Clippers from Spaghetti Records recording artist The BCH. We'll have him in the studio to talk about the inspiration for and recording of that track. Until then, I'm Bill. Keep it saucy, Noodleheads. And to me, the solo has this quality of it's just barely hanging on by a thread from spinning out of control. It's a wild Mustang. Like at any moment, it could just come untethered and come careening out of the speakers, cartwheeling across the room like a boomerang, and hopefully not take anybody's head off before it lodges in the drywall. You know what I mean? The Weekly Noodle is the official podcast of Spaghetti Records. All audio materials herein are hereby property of Spaghetti Records and relevant subsidiary parties. Trademark, copyright, secret recipe. Unauthorized duplication of authorized noodles is uncouth, rude, and generally frowned upon. The Weekly Noodle is made possible through listeners like you.